Welcome back. I hope you've got a cup of tea. I know I do, because I've got a bit of a tummy ache at the moment, and I think it's a little bit of ascension, to be perfectly honest. For those of you that don't know, I'm your host, Yildiz, from Yildiz Readings 5D, psychic medium, twin flame guide, as well as we cover the astrology, which we haven't done a lot of that. But yes, it is coming. Disclaimers, all the info is down below because we don't like long intros. And we are going to get into a new edition, which is going to be initially the psychic downloads I've been getting, especially because I am psychic and I'm a twin flame. I do tune into energy. Now, we're going to have these for each individual. So we're going to have these for the masculine, feminine, and karmic frequencies around those situations. And this week in the mix, especially tuning into divine masculine, I did feel a bit off. There was an energy frequency almost like, and this is very common. It happens very often in the path where a lot of what divine feminine has gone through, it synchronistically feels as though they go through those energy shifts as well. And there's something kind of stopping them in their path to a degree, but it is helping them pivot forward. And I do feel this is the common energy for the collective, especially within our own masculine attributes of our life, where we're being cautioned, especially into about the third week. Really to not make any major decisions. We may really be deciphering between reality and fiction. It may be that we're having huge emotional upheavals and getting frustrated because things are feeling quite burdensome. It's almost like, love is the fruit of life. So, if there's no love, it's sort of like, what is the point sort of thing? If there's no passion, if there's no creativity, things become a bit dull. And there's different layers, like an onion peel, that the divine masculine is pulling back this week. And I do believe it's going to continue through this month. I also feel as though, and you always can get this, if you look at songs and music that's coming up, there can be some pacifiers and habits and patterns that they're actually working through at this point in time. And they're having revelations that it's something that they need to tweak and evolve. But they're also having a deeper revelation that there's something deeper going on than just the habit. So whatever that is, whether it's a behavioral pattern or it's something of a more toxic nature, it does appear to be that they're looking at these patterns and habits, and they're still being quite cautious, especially around individuals that are toxic, and they're also questioning in their mind why they're directly tolerating it. Now, we are going to get into the cards. I'll first show you the overall energy that we have actually pulled this week for the divine masculine. It does feel really deep. It feels as though they are really tuning into things. And it's funny because we have the Phoenix rising, but it is in reverse. And, Mars has really done a number on all of us collectively. So we can have this descent. And generally, I always say synchronistically, these things do happen for a reason. So even if we could have maybe a negative thing happen in our life, inevitably it ends up being a very positive thing because it's the direct situation that does shift us. Otherwise, if we always had perfectness, nothing would ever evolve. So there is some situation here where they're feeling maybe unmotivated by, they're lacking passion. The chemistry also, it's very important for them to feel chemistry within their life. And I do believe they have that, but I feel this is more a personal thing. This is going to be their vitality isn't so good at this point in time. But the chemistry directly connected to the divine feminine is very ripe, so to speak. But at the moment, it's almost like they're looking at things and wondering, hey, how do I get my passion back? How do I move forward in my life? How do I take my power back? Because they do subconsciously feel, okay, with that power, how can I use it in a positive way? How can I actually shift these situations in my life into a positive way? Now, looking to the most recent past, they're kind of looking at it, and this is why I really said all of us do need to be incredibly gentle on ourselves. There is going to be purging, there is going to be reviewing, there is going to be looking at circumstances that just wasn't working. And we do see divine masculine this week really connecting to family and home, linking to the factor of the card dropping down to a 4. believing in the past that they had set their course and they were walking down a certain path. And there's an element of confusion here. And I feel this element of confusion is actually making them feel quite a bit of despair in their hearts, because this was not intended. And sometimes we can literally feel universe is directly against us. It's like, look, I'm jumping in the deep end like full card in tarot, and no matter what I do, everything is going pear-shaped. And I feel divine masculine this week is really feeling that frequency in the mix and the circumstance, and it is directly really frustrating them. There's a lot of regression, but the regression it's not that they're going backwards. It's more a subconscious thing, due to a circumstance playing out in the 3D. So it's almost like, because of all these tedious things that are going on, they're really questioning, like, am I saying here? I'm trying. Is the universe actually against me? Why is this happening? They do feel, they're also getting a frequency, and I feel this comes directly back to the psychic energy. I'm really tuning into it. It feels as though they're almost sensing in a 3D setting that, it's like the vibrations of things are changing. So this can be causing a little bit of paranoia, because it's almost like they're psychically coming online, they're sensing things, they're acutely susceptible to individuals around them where they weren't maybe previously. And many times we're integrating, it quiets down, it goes away, and it comes back again. And I feel this is coming in extremely largely for the divine masculine this week. Some of them are wanting to kick a habit, and they're actually realizing it is causing some issues for them. Some of them could also be having almost like psychic attacks. I'm feeling like in order to have a celebration, they need to do something to actually shift things up, because it is actually causing problems. So they're being dragged backwards, so to speak, but it is actually giving them a plan. It's giving them a course of action to move forward. So if there is any tidy up and they are realizing, hang on a minute, why am I getting stuck in the past? Why am I getting dragged back to old situations? It can be for some that we are breaking a karmic cycle linking to 2020. And if this is taking a little bit longer, it doesn't mean it's not going away. It doesn't mean it's not going to be resolved. It's just the soul clearing and purging the karmic cycle for the fresh slate, so that they can have this movement forward. But they're really not liking it. Some of them, through the circumstance of returning to a situation, it can also be that they're having a revelation that, hey, in fact, this was more about them than potentially another person. Sometimes it can be that we're actually clearing karma, but on some occasions, which I'm feeling this is the case in this situation, is that they're realizing this is actually spiritually more about them than a karmic cycle as per se. And so this is actually giving them a great deal of closure and awareness of their personal power. Yeah, it's almost like they are having this rebirth. They are being reborn, so to speak. So at a foundation level, it's almost like it can feel like a spiritual identity crisis where, the things they're doing, the things they tolerate, who they are now, they're just not resonating with certain things, which again does link back to the fact that they're reaching a great deal of closure through the circumstance. They're very regretful. So, yeah, and this is the warning and this is the caution this week, divine masculine. Just be careful about going into things right now. Be careful about promising individuals, especially in a karmic cycle, that you can do X, Y, and Z. Really step back and look at the painting, because really we do have this portal, and the way I'm observing it. A lot of throat chakra, so I feel you guys are directly having issues with communicating it, putting your boundaries down, but I do think it's getting louder and louder, and it's getting to the point you're going to. The portal is feeling this way because things are becoming heavier. And so in assimilation, it gives you an opportunity, if you were within your ego feeling, okay, I need to forgive myself for the circumstance, I owe these individuals something, or, this is inhumane, I need to look at it differently, or what would I do from here? You're shuffling through those dynamics, but the revelation is, especially because your soul and your guides are believing that you have ascended beyond this point now, then your body naturally will reject this. Your body naturally won't feel comfortable in it. So it won't be a person that needs to convince you. It will be your sixth senses. It will be your vibrations. It will be your intuition, how you're feeling around these things. I do feel you're not going to take accountability. I do feel you're going to, but I feel you're going to take a different approach through this. And your guides and your soul is speaking very loudly here. And you do feel that it's time that you receive. You do feel it's time that you actually choose you and have your path where you directly can move forward in the mix. And, it's about, like I said, if you need to pause for another week, that's fine. That's actually quite intelligent, I would say. But once you go through this simulation, what you do need to do is actually sit here with this information and not be scared, but take every day as it comes, but know that you are walking towards the location of where you want to be, not where you feel or what you need to be for others. So this is very much this week about you. And I feel, although your thought processes are linking to divine feminine, that is actually the bigger picture. It's also by being your own person and choosing what is correct for yourself and removing those obstacles, you're able to show up for yourself and for the individuals that you feel should be in your story. Now, we do have weekly updates. If you haven't checked out the other updates, we do have weekly for the divine masculine, for the divine feminine, and the karmic third party. So if you haven't gone and seen them, go through and take a look. And if you want a personal booking, we do have a limited schedule there at the moment, which can be opening up later. But at the moment, we do have bookings online and they fill up very quickly through the month. As to joining our membership, we have taken it actually off YouTube. It is so that we can add more creativity into the mix. We have a lot more content that I will be building out over the next 6 months to a year. The only way now you can join this at this point in time is via our email list. And we do have a landing page for it, and all the information is directly below. So if there's anything you need to know about it, you can go to the website. All the links are there. Otherwise, you can PM me here on the video or on the website and I can give you a hand. I do hope to see you next week. Please take care and tell us how this energy resonates with you.